Welcome to the Laws of Business podcast. Here, we will share the skills you need to make your business a success. Learn about goal setting, productivity, time management, marketing, and much more. Hear inspiring stories with today's best business leaders and join a hub of thousands of passionate entrepreneurs across the world. And now, here's your host, Jamil Jama.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Law of Business podcast. I'm your host, Jamil Jama, and today we're going to be talking about marketing, business growth, social media, lead generation, trainings and workshops, and marriedpreneurs. And I'm going to be interviewing Charles and Linda Musselwhite. Charles and Linda Musselwhite are marketing and business growth consultants and speakers. Charles and Linda Musselwhite are marketing and business growth consultants who provide ahead-of-the-curve advice and services through their company, Musselwhite Consulting. Charles and Linda love to teach and have a busy workshop schedule. Audiences love the Musselwhite's positive, energetic, and interactive tag team approach to teaching, filled with real-life examples and actionable tips that can be implemented right away. They are no tricks, no empty promise, super ninja, big hair, rock star, hype type of people. They don't do hype. Just the why-tos and how-tos of growing your business through marketing. They invest a lot of money, time, and effort every month staying up on what's working and what isn't and what's coming. As students of marketing, they are always up for discussing strategies and tactics over a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, either face-to-face or virtually. They've been together for 30 years and been married for 26 years. They've been married for 26 years and working side by side since 2008. Charles and Linda bring a unique perspective to the conversation and their clients. They learn the business by doing, failing, and succeeding. They now manage a growing marketing consulting firm and focus their efforts on customer strategies for each of their clients. It's a real pleasure to welcome Charles and Linda Musselwhite. Charles, thank you so much for being here, Charles. How's it going?
Hey, Jamil, thank you very much. It's an honor and the privilege is all ours. And just to let you know, Linda had to step away at the last minute. I do apologize. So unfortunately, you're just stuck with me today.
That's awesome. Anyway, that's awesome. You're awesome. But anyway, Charles. So it's still a real pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So, Charles, first of all, Charles, I want to thank you so much for taking your time out to come on the podcast to do this interview. I appreciate it so much.
We are busy, but Jamal, here's what I love sharing the things that we've learned with other folks. So thank you for again this opportunity. It's important. Here's the thing. I don't think there's a corner on information or education. What's been given to me, I have no problem giving away freely because I realize that, there's other folks that are maybe growing in business and might need to hear some of the information that we need to share. And, I guarantee that I'll learn something in our conversation today that I haven't learned before. So this is good for all of us.
That's fantastic, Charles. So, Charles, my first question for you, Charles, is what is the best advice you would give an entrepreneur or business owner today?
Whew, Jim, hey, wait a minute. That's a big question. I thought we were going to start easy. So what's the number one question I would give to an entrepreneur today? Oh, my goodness. Well, I think advice. Advice. If it's an entrepreneur just getting started, I hate to say it, it sounds almost cliche, but you know what? Don't wait for perfect. Don't wait till you have everything in alignment. Just go. Start going right now because every day that you wait is opportunity lost to somebody else. There's some sayings that I'm kind of fond of. One is done is better than perfect. That doesn't mean that I'm worrying about quality because I do pay attention to quality, but done is better than perfect. It actually helps you to get things out there in front of somebody. So when we were growing our business, not that I'm a procrastinator, but I used to be a perfectionist. And Linda was instrumental in breaking me of that bad habit because, I might want, like our first book, for instance, we wrote a book called Marketing Online Strategies. And that book took me over 2 years to write because I would write it and then I would rewrite it and I would rewrite it. Finally, Linda got enough of that and told me to just finish it. So I did. The second book took me 45 days to write. So again, for advice for an entrepreneur, especially if you're in startup mode, number one is just take action, get moving right now. If you're a seasoned entrepreneur and you've been doing some things, but you're not getting the growth and the exposure that you want, this might sound a little counterintuitive, but I would tell you this. One of the best investments that we ever made in our business is what we call our Brainstorm Fridays. The last Friday of every month, we get out of the office, we shut off our phones, we shut off our laptops. We look back over the last 30 days of our business. So we look at our finances. We look at our schedules. We look at our appointments. We look at what we've done for our customers and our clients and for ourselves. And we evaluate what worked, what didn't work, and what still needs to get done. Once that part of our day is done, then we look ahead for the next 90 days, one full quarter, so that we can at least keep an eye on what's coming up. Because I hate surprises. I hate when a subscription to a piece of software ends. I hate when an agreement with one of our customers ends, and now we're stuck chasing paper around. So that time, that investment, 8 hours once a month into our business has probably been one of the best investments that we've made, because it helps to keep us on top of what we're doing and where we're going.
It prepares you, right?
Oh, absolutely. Not only prepares you, but again, you get to when we spend the first part of the day looking back over our business, it really lets us know what worked or what didn't work. And look, if you are hustling hard enough, you should expect there to be some failures. And the failures are actually, it's cliche now, but the failures are what actually teach you and what you can learn from. I don't plan to fail, but I know that things aren't always going to work. And so we look for what didn't work and what can we learn from those things. And hopefully that all ties into we're continuing to trend upwards and continue to grow our business.
Another guy I interviewed said that you should fail forward, because that's how he learned. He failed forward.
Oh,
And now he's like a six-figure earner online, because he kept on failing. I knew him since 2012. He kept on failing. And then a couple of years later, he started to have success. And now he's making 6-7 figures every year because he failed forward.
Hey, Jimmy, let me speak to that just for a minute, because again, going back to the startup entrepreneur, if you keep waiting as a startup entrepreneur and you're not getting things done, that 6-figure payday is going to get further and further away. And you don't need to have 100 customers. You don't need to have 1,000 customers. Depending upon your business, I'm in consulting, and I know consultants that have less than 10 clients a year and are making 6, almost 7 figures a year. So you don't need a big, huge base of customers to start making money. I mean, think about it. Would $10,000 a month make a difference in your family? Would $5,000 a month be a difference in your family? I argue that it would. And so again, that's my encouragement to startups, just to get going, because the money will come. Just start taking action today.
Definitely. So Charles, I'm going to start with a quote for the next question. It's a Benjamin Franklin quote. And Benjamin Franklin said, "Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement and success have no meaning." So Charles, what should an entrepreneur, business owner look for in a business growth consulting or marketing firm?
Oh, big question. Great question, by the way. So you mean if someone's looking to hire someone to work for them, to do some marketing for them? So yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because when we started, the model used to be strategies or tactics that we've used for other folks. This isn't us. This is just what we saw when we first got started. The response would be, well, this is what we do for everybody. And I think maybe back then that worked, because like social media was so brand new, you could almost do anything and it would work to some degree. But I think really, regardless of your size, if you're a one-person business or you're a business with 1,000 employees in multiple locations, I really think when it comes down to marketing, you're looking for someone who has a couple of things going for them. Number one is they've got the experience. And experience is different. It doesn't necessarily mean that they've got 30 years in the business, but they've got experience and success, marketable success, in the tactics and strategies they're talking to you about. The other thing is, are you guys even a good fit? Can you talk to one another? What are the conversations like? Do your schedules sync up? Because early on in our business, I hate to say it, but we chased the money, and we would take business from anyone that could fog a mirror, anyone that could stroke us a check. But unfortunately, some of those customers, they were not good fits for us, and it became very contentious, and it was difficult to work with them. So for me personally, firsthand experience is you're looking for someone that you trust, that has a success record, a good track record, and more importantly, that it's a good you have got a good rapport, and that you work well with them.
You vibe together.
Exactly. The cost of their service is obviously important, but I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they stop short in terms of they look at the cost of hiring an expert, or a specialist, and this is across the board, not just for marketing, but they look at the cost of hiring an expert or a specialist, and sometimes they pause or they hesitate or they think it's too much. Yeah. I argue that a lot of times you have to look at those not as expenses, but as an investment. The investment of digital marketing is to increase and improve your online visibility so that you've got more opportunities. More suspects find you. You have opportunities to create more prospects, and ultimately leads to more sales. But, if you don't have the bandwidth to do that all on your own and you need to hire a partner, those are the things that I would look for. And then, I guess the last thing on that would be to make sure that you're constantly, at least on a monthly basis, checking in, talking about updates, and just, understanding what's going to be modified going forward. Because in today's day and age, when it comes to digital marketing, it's no longer can you set it and forget it. I think you've constantly got to be measuring and watching and changing and adapting to what's going on around you and in your markets.
Can I just tell a quick story about a guy who invested in consulting, in coaching? Basically, he was earning like $1,000 a month, and he wanted to get coaching, and his coach asked him for $800, which isn't much these days, but this was like in 2011. He asked for $800 for an hour, and he was hesitating to pay the $800, but he done it anyway. And then like a year later, the guy was earning. Or was it a year later? Or instantly, he was earning $1 million a month from that coaching. It's a true story. And now his company, he employs like 60 people, and he's making 10 figures. Not 10 figures, sorry. He's making 8 figures a year now. So coaching is an investment, as you said, Charles.
That's a great story. I mean, who wouldn't pay $800 to get even just $1 million? I mean, that's a phenomenal story. And to that point. I'm a coach and a consultant, but I'm constantly looking for my next coach and my next consultant, because I know that I don't know it all. And for me, coaching and consulting is an investment in our growth and our success in our future. So I'm happy to have someone tell me what to do or what to stop doing, because sometimes we get in our own ways, and we need someone like a coach or a consultant to help us to break through that next level.
So Charles, what contracts would be better? Month-to-month agreements or long-term contracts? I mean, sorry, Charles. What would be better, long-term contracts or month-to-month agreements? Which is best?
Wow. So, I'm no longer a fan of long-term contracts, and I'll tell you why. Initially, I wanted to have a long-term contract because I wanted to make sure that, if you and I were in business together, you knew that you were on the hook for a certain period of time. But like I said earlier, things go south, things fail, things go wrong every once in a while. And here's the way I look at it. I mean, I think for us, it just came down to a confidence factor, because Linda and I both, when we first got started, you had to sign a year contract, and then we had to renew, and then we changed that somewhat. Now here's what we do, depending upon what service we're doing. So if it's SEO, we start with a minimum of 6 months, and then we go to a quarterly update and renewal. But I'm not afraid or worried about even a 30-day termination notice, because here's the thing: change happens, whether it's internal to the company, whether it's external to the market, or something happens on our end. Change happens, and we've got to be flexible enough to deal with it. And I do know from experience that a lot of times clients, especially if it's a new client or a new customer, they're a little skeptical. They may not know what to expect. They don't know, what the fee is going to do, and sometimes. Signing a contract for a year or longer can be enough of an obstacle that could make them go away. Now, as soon as I say that, I know some of our past coaches and consultants will argue and tell me that that's wrong, and I understand their point. But for us, and just for us, we've gone to a model that typically is a 30-day notice. So, and again, that's not across the board, but typically it's 30 days. We'll work, and if for whatever reason you don't like what we've done or something's happened, I mean, think about it. What if we got into what if you and I were working together, and something happened for you that you could no longer be in that business? You had to move, a family member became ill, you hit the lottery. I mean, whatever. Your circumstances changed to a point where this doesn't make any sense anymore. It would be foolish for us to then force you to stay in that contract, because it's not going to work. Again, I think it's different for everybody, but for us, we work on a 30-day rolling contract anymore, and we've got clients for years. No one's left, so it's working out well for us. Now, I don't mean that no one has ever left, because we've done projects for people, and the project concluded, and they were happy, and they went on. And yes, unfortunately, we've had customers that just weren't happy with us and they've left too. So, but for the most part, we don't make the agreement or the contract an obstacle. We use it as a marketing tool for ourselves to attract more folks, and they seem to like the 30-day model.
Sounds great. And Charles, I'm going to start with another quote. This is by Coco Chanel. In order to be irreplaceable, one must always be different. What makes your marketing and consulting firm different from all the other business growth consultants and marketing firms?
Oh, wow. I've never thought about that. I don't necessarily know if we're different than the rest of them, but I do say this. Like you mentioned in our bio, we pride ourselves on the amount of education we get every month, the amount of coaching and consulting we get every month, just the stuff that's going on, the partnerships that we have, and continuing to learn. I think in that by itself is where a lot of our differentiation comes in, because we've talked to other marketing
plus you've been married 30 years. 26 years.
Yes, it works for us. It works wonders for us. So good question. First of all, having been together for 30 years, married for 26, and we sit less than 6 feet apart, husband and wife business team, there's not too many of those that are out there. And a lot of folks tell me that they'd pull their hair out if they had to work with their spouse, and I understand, but it just works for us. One thing that we've learned is what are our strong suits. So not everything that I'm good at, Linda can be good at. Not everything that she's good at, I'm good at. So we make a good team in that respect. But we've also understood what our strong suits are. And so because of that, at one point when we were growing our business, we were the couple that would build it and sell it, whether it was a website, a video, or social media. But we've grown our business to a point now where we employ up to 20 other specialists and other agencies, because the best use of our time is really just to talk to the business owner, help them to identify where they are today and where they want to be tomorrow. And like I said earlier, we spend a lot of time every month just maintaining our knowledge base and increasing and growing the information, because to me that's the differentiation, that's the change. Is your agency fluid enough to stay up on things, or are you reactionary? And I hate to say it, but at one point we were reactionary. We wouldn't make changes until we proved that something wasn't working anymore. And today the speed of online is so fast that's not a good place to be. You kind of want to keep your finger on the pulse of what's coming down the pike so that you can be ready and anticipate it. And I'll give you a perfect example. In one of our mastermind groups, this guy was running a school educational site, and the algorithm changed with Google. He went from first place to 3 or 4 pages back. He went from making $100,000 a month down to barely scrimping by with $1,000 or $2,000 a month. It hurt him tremendously, and because he reacted to it, it took him over a year to get back up to the levels that he was at. And I would argue that, if he was paying attention to what was coming, he would have made changes ahead of time so that he could have headed off those changes and would have been prepared to make the move when the time was right. So again, for us, differentiation is simple. Husband and wife team running a business. We manage a bunch of other talent, but we spend a lot of time making sure what we're doing is working and trying to stay ahead of the curve, because change is inevitable and it's always going to happen.
Congratulations to you and your wife, Linda, by the way, and Charles.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
How do you stay up to date? What do you do? Do you do a lot of reading?
Oh, my gosh. So I've got a very full library. I've got 2 bookshelves, and I devour as much marketing information as I can. Some of my favorite – we've written 2 books by ourselves, but some of our favorite authors are Russell Brunson, who wrote .com Secrets, and his latest book is out now called Expert Secrets. There's another gentleman out there by the name of Ryan Dice, who wrote the book Invisible Selling Machine. And for your listeners, if you don't have those 2 books, I would encourage you to go get them. This isn't a pitch. It's not going to put any money in my pocket, but I promise you the investment.
I think right now Russell Brunson is giving his book away for free.
Yeah, you got
right now anyway. I don't know if it's going to be like this for good.
Expert Secrets is going out for free. You have to pay for shipping. But even if you had to pay $100 for those books, and I mean this 100%, it would be well worth the investment, because the information that they share in there, I don't know anyone who's read that and didn't find something that just blew them away. And there's a lot of marketing books that are out there, and a lot of times it's just a rehash of what someone else said. But these 2 guys, in my mind, are on the cutting edge of writing great stuff. and they're not just writing it from theory, but they've got multiple profitable businesses that they test and they learn and they share what they find with the rest of us. So I would go and do that. The other thing is we spend a lot of time.
Talking about Russell Brunson. Sorry to interrupt you. You know the story I told. You know the story I told you earlier about a guy that paid $800 and now he's making like millions of dollars every month. He has an 8-figure business. The person who coached him coached Russell Brunson as well.
That's impressive. That's impressive. Yeah. See, so again, that's a perfect example of why coach is important in your business. And we'll always have a coach because you can't think of everything on your own. You can't see everything on your own. Sometimes you get in your own way, like I was talking about. And it's good to have a coach to kind of keep your feet to the ground, but keep you moving in the right direction as well.
So Charles, I want to thank you so much again for taking your time out to do this interview. I appreciate you so much.
Hey, Jamil, like I said, the pleasure was all ours. Thank you. It was an honor and a privilege. Thank you for considering us. I hope it was useful and beneficial. And let us know if we can ever, fill another spot for you. We'd love to do that and love to talk to your listeners.
That was awesome. And I want to thank all the listeners for tuning in. I'm sure you got a lot of value. Charles has got a good vibe and a lot of energy and a lot of experience and knowledge in business. So it'll be awesome to contact him. So Charles, where can people contact you?
Real simple. Musselwhitemarketing.com. MUSSELWHITE marketing.com. On the website, we've got a lot of free resources that you can download and use in your business right now today. We've also got there's a form for a website audit or discovery session. Go check out the tools. Go play around with some things. See where you're at. And if you have any questions, you can. Our email's listed there. We'd love to talk with anybody. That
was an awesome interview, Charles. It's just a real shame that Linda couldn't make it, but it was still an awesome interview.
Thank you very much. I'll let her know that I did as best I could.
And I want to thank all the listeners for tuning in. And I'm Jamil Jama. This is the Law of Business. Thank you all very much for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Laws of Business podcast. Find out more about us on thelawsofbusiness.com. Thank you for being a part of our journey.